visited quite a few open gardens this year, and of the tropical ones, one thing I've noticed is that they all have in common, which really makes them look tropical, is that they have a canopy, and that's something that's really lacking in my garden. We've got a few trees like this one. This is a paulownia or a foxglove tree, and I'll cut this down probably about to 1 metre high every year, and it shoots all this growth up in the space of a year, and you get these wonderful big giant leaves on it. It can spread, and we've got it in the middle of the garden. We're really looking for stuff that we can put on the perimeter. We've got a few plants, we've got a few trees on the perimeter, but not really enough. They're not quite tall enough. We've got some trachycarpus which we're hoping to grow that will fill in, but I don't want it just trachycarpus because we've got quite a long perimeter to fill. So I'm just going to show you a few of the trees that we're growing along there, and hopefully that will sort of form our canopy. Now this is my tulip tree, and not that one, it's an Tuttle. This one, it's my tulip tree, and you can see it's got these tulip flower shaped leaves, and this is why people grow them. Now this thing will get quite big, probably, I don't know, 50-60 feet maybe, but I went to a garden show, and there was a nursery there selling tulip trees, and the leaves were quite a bit bigger than mine. Now the plant itself was quite straggly, but it was probably about as tall as this, but it had a much bigger leaf on. And I asked him how he got the big leaves, and he said the trick is to just pinch out the top of the tree. It was only small in a pot, and that will give you it will then produce bigger leaves because it's not growing up so much. When I've come home, I'm thinking, well, if I cut the top of this off, will it make bigger leaves? Or have I just bought the wrong tree? Because there are two types of these. There's the American tulip tree, and there's the Chinese one. And I'm beginning to wonder whether or not I've bought the American one, which has the smaller leaves, as opposed to the Chinese one. And I can't find the label, so I'm not really sure. Now, I don't know if any of the viewers know how to tell the difference. I certainly don't. Maybe if they were side by side, I would go for the one with the bigger leaf. I still like this one as it is, but I prefer it if it had a bigger one. I mean, these leaves will get about 20 centimeters long apparently on the American, but on the Chinese one there'll be more bigger leaves, and they get to about 25 centimeters, so there's not a great deal in it, ultimate size, but they did look considerably bigger at a much younger plant, the one I saw at the show. Now this is my Albizia, and this one is the one you really want to go for. It's tangled up there. It's Albizia rosea, and it's the hardiest of the Albizas, and it will go down to about -15, which is quite low. But the proviso is you've got to have well-drained soil. If you've got a clay soil like we have, you might run into problems, and it's got to be really well-drained, free-draining soil. Now there's another one similar to this, which is Albizia P.H. Wilson, which is also go down to -15. This one is considered to be the hardiest. And you can get the one which we've got here, which is Albizia Summer Chocolate. Now these will only go down to about -8, -10. So the rosea is a whole zone hardier than this one here. Now we have got this here on the perimeter, which is hiding the fence really well. It's a cotinus, but I don't really think of this as a tree. It's kind of a giant shrub. But what we've done, we've kind of lifted it, sort of lollipopped it, made it into a standard so that you can see the trunk. And it does produce suckers on the trunk. You just pull them off and it will give you this tree-like appearance. And what I do every year, I let it grow out these long branches. I don't shape it at all during the year, just right at the end of the season or early in the spring. I'll cut it off, I'll pollard it right back to the trunk here, and then that will grow out during next season. It doesn't take long to start growing either. and this will get slightly longer than this, maybe another foot or so on here, and they really do get quite tall. Now we're in September, and I've noticed our temperatures at night, when I've gone down the bottom of the garden and had a look at the thermometer, they're hovering around about 10 degrees, and I've started to get a bit nervous. So some of the plants we've brought in to the greenhouse. Now this one here was sold to me as a sugarcane plant, and this can only go down to about 10 degrees, and then it'll start to have problems. It's actually not a true sugarcane, apparently. They are sold in this country as the purple sugarcane, but this is actually it's pennisetum. But they actually, to grow them and to propagate them, it's the same technique as you would use for a sugarcane, and they're kind of similar, but just a smaller plant. These will get to about 2 or 3 meters tall, whereas a sugarcane will get much taller, 4 to 5 meters maybe. Now, what I've done, I've brought it in. It's the first time I've had one of these, and what I've done, because I'm a bit worried about it, I've taken some cuttings from it. So you just take one of these branches here, one of these stems, and you just cut them off at the nodes, and that will give you put them in water, or you can put them in soil. I put mine in water, and they will very quickly form roots, and you've got another couple of plants there. Now this one, I'm not sure what it's going to be like over winter. We're going to sort of treat it as a house plant, but they do like it warm. Now the other thing we've got in here, we've brought in early, is this. It's a Mussonono. It's a banana, and we had him out. We've only bought him this year, quite expensive, and he has this wonderful pink and green leaves, absolutely amazing leaves, but he's never looked particularly good, to be honest. And well, he did when we first got him, and then he started to get these sort of drooping leaves. So we brought him in. These don't like going down, don't like low temperatures at all, and you've got to treat them pretty much. You can't treat them even like an inset banana. You treat them more like a house plant in a way. And I think maybe we've left him out, and he's got a bit too low at night for him. I mean, he's still hanging in there, but he's not the wonderful display as we bought him. So we'll see how that goes. And when it comes to the plants that our house plants do not do very well. We've got quite a dark house, and they have to be under grow lights and all quite false conditions, which has improved slightly for what we were doing with house plants. But he'll have to come in, I think. I think this is the best view of the garden, but the problem is it's very difficult to get to it, and in fact a visitor to the garden couldn't really get to see this. And the problem is it's right in the corner of the patio, right at the top of a border, and you have to stand basically in this spot here, just beyond my pond pump where this trachycarpus is. Now my plan is to make this area accessible, and I don't want to extend the patio out there. It's just be way too much work. I just want to put in somewhere where you can just stand on there as a sort of viewing platform and take in this view. Now my idea is to have it sort of like a balcony or a sort of lookout. And you would walk along the patio, and you get to the end of the patio, and then you'd walk behind the sumac, and you'd come out about here. Now I don't want it right along the fence line. I want it to stop about here, and from this point going left, as you're looking at the screen, I want there to be tall planting to hide that fence. I really don't like that fence. Now I've got a willow
around about this point, just to the left of this point, and I'm going to put the Trachycarpus next to it, I think, or something tall next to it that will hide that view. I don't know whether I'll ever be happy with the garden, but in Buddhist thought, we're not really looking for happiness. We're really looking for peace.